Welcome to the world of Samata Samashti Dharma, the teachings of Samta. We're here today with our beloved Guru, Swami Durgananda, and Joe to discuss the topics of Japa and Mantra.
Good morning, Swami. How are you?
Thank you. Good.
That's good. Before we get on to the Japa and Mantra topics, I've got a question, or I've got a couple of questions within a question, if that makes sense. So I'll just break it down for you to kind of answer Mooney's question. First part, could you explain how in our lineage dreams are an opportunity to be tested in terms of ego, desires, and our lower mind?
How it is, it's a strange question to ask. In this yoga, I always think if I say something to you physically, you either listen or you don't. And even if you listen, when you go to sleep and dream, you will have forgotten what I've told you. Right?
Why would that be?
Because you could not take it into a more refined space. Like the subconscious is more a refined consciousness than the physical state of consciousness. So if I tell you, don't ask me that question. If I tell you something and, lots of things happen during the day and you go to sleep at night and have a dream, you won't dream or you won't remember what I've told you. You may not even remember me telling you. But if I make this into the dream state, if I contact you subconsciously and you dream it, you are closer to your soul, therefore it's more refined, you will remember, and when you wake up, you will remember the dream.
Okay.
So you can learn by it or not learn by it.
So what I'm hearing is at the start your mind might be processing, and then later when you're in that dream state, if you've connected, that person will then get the message a lot clearer because they're in that higher level.
Let me ask you the question, do you know what your little toe is doing when you're asleep?
No.
You see? So if you can't remember your little toe when you're asleep, you'll never remember what I told you when you're asleep, will you?
No.
No.
True.
So when you're in that subconscious, have you ever had a dream and it's some sort of a problem you've had, and you're in the dream, you think, oh, that's the answer, that's really great. You wake up and think, no, what was the answer again? I can't. Do you see?
I do, but I write it down when I have that dream and I do wake up. I actually write it down because I know I'll forget in the morning.
Yeah, okay, but you may not be able to write the answer down.
Yep.
Because of a problem. Because it's more, it's not as subtle. You haven't got all the answers that you would normally have in that subconscious state of mind.
So in that first part, Swami, where Mooney mentions an opportunity to be tested in terms of ego, with what we're talking about now, how would you answer that?
How would you like me, as your spiritual teacher, to tell you your ego's no good? I want you to smash the ego and have more humility. Well, you'd think, no, I don't have an ego. I am humble. But if I do it to you in a dream, you think it's my dream. I'm dreaming. I'm going to be humble. You see?
Yep. Now the second part, and how is it possible that the guru and the masters can help us develop through our dreams and in our spiritual life?
Because we're initiated. And we've done all the work. I mean, what you're asking me there is something I can't answer.
So is it, can I take a step? Is it because you are at a higher level that you see more and know more? Or is it No, that is. It's probably what it is. Okay, so people that you've initiated, can they get to that level?
Yeah, if they try hard, but most people don't try hard. They don't put the effort into it.
That's very true.
Yeah, they don't put the effort into it, which is a shame.
Okay, moving on to our topics for today, Swami. I've got a couple of Japa questions, if you don't mind me asking you.
Mm-hmm.
What I understand the meaning of Japa is, the word Japa is repetition.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, repetition of what?
It's got to be repetition of sacred words. So if you, Japa is just to do something again and again and again. Like Japa, if you're a Catholic, you have rosary beads, so you say the rosary over and over and over again. If you're Islam, you say the holy words. If you're a Hindu, you do the beads all the time, and you are repeating something. So Japa is repetition, and the reason you do this is so that this manas, or this lower part of your mind, that's such a chatty mind, it's always talk, especially when you want to go to sleep, it's talk. But what you can do to stop that, and you should stop it, because it stops a lot of your life experiences, is to change it to something else. And if you say, if you did it to the Maha Mantra, Hari Ram, Hari Krishna, Ram Ram, if you did this, you would quieten down the body, you quieten down the mind, less stress. It's sort of, the positive defeats the negative, if you like. It'll just quieten that mind right down.
So explain to me, with repetition, what if you're repeating or you're processing repetition in a wrong way? How do you know it's right, what you're actually repeating? How do you know it's right? Versus because some people will think they're doing something really well, until some new person comes on and has a look and then says, oh, actually, you've been doing that wrong for 10 years. Mm. So people that are working on Japa and its repetition, my question is, how do you know you're actually doing the right thing?
Well, you wouldn't be repeating, I want chocolate, would you? Forever. Every bead a chocolate, or maybe. But Japa is I don't think you can do that wrong, actually, somehow. Yeah. Because if you have the right words, the right way of doing a Japa, it's interesting because in my book I'm talking about Japa is when you're walking or when you're doing something. When you're walking, I give all the clues in the book as to how you breathe. Now, everybody who goes for a walk or a run, they get out, got all the gear on, and they're off. Or they go slow and then they get fast and then go slow, or whatever it is. They've got the earphones in, they got the right gear on. My day it used to be Adidas or something, and I don't know what it is today. But and they're looking everywhere or chatting to the people with them. They are not coming home to themselves. So the run is not going to do you that much good. You might think it is, but it's not. Now, if you want to start a run or a walk, the way to do it is to just cleanse the body first with a breath, a simple, easy breath, and then listen to your breath. So clear yourself, get rid of all the gear around, and take a deep breath in, using the power of your mind. Feel like you're taking it all down to the base of the spine, and then blow it out with pursed lips as much as you can. Yogis love threes, do it 3 times.
So Swami, right now, could you give us an example of how we could do that for people that have never done that before? Just with the breath?
Yeah, okay. So you take the breath in through the nose. So you're going to take the breath in, and my hand will tell you where your mind must go, because you must use the mind and the breath together.
Excellent.
So you visualize it coming in here, down here, and then with pursed lips, really strongly. Do it 3 times.
Beautiful.
Once you've done that, you feel really great, because you've just cleaned out the bottom part of your lungs.
Yes.
And then listen to the breath. Listen to your breath. Hardly ever people listen to their breath. So listen to the breath, and as you're walking, running, feel the breath. See what it's doing to you. You can hear it even, and that will get your mind calmed down, but your body invigorated.
Are people not conscious of how powerful the breath can be?
No.
So how can we teach ourselves that the breath is important?
If you don't breathe, you die.
That's the point. Actually, in your book, Swami, you mentioned the body and the mind working together. How can you train your body and your mind to work together? I ask this because a lot of people struggle to clear their mind. So there's how can I put this? A lot of people struggle to clear their minds. There's always a conflict and an internal battle with ourselves.
There's a good saying in the Hindu. They say, if you don't worry about a problem for 11 years, it ceases to be a problem.
It's a fair while.
But as you go on in life, I mean, you know, at my age now, and I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and one thing I was taught going along my life was not to get too engrossed in problems. They will either mature to be a catastrophe, or they will dissipate, not to dwell on them.
So try not to control what you can't control.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You say, actually I'll ask you the question, what do you mean by saying the mantra is a mystic formula, a sound, a syllable, word or phrase containing special powers? What are the special powers you're talking about?
The special powers are the person who gives you the mantra, gives you the special powers, gives you an initiated master who is allowed to give mantras, should give a mantra, because a mantra is really important to people as they go along their spiritual journey. And it has to be a certain syllable, it has to be a certain sound, it has to be able to be, it has to be heard by the soul. So a lot of mantras are given. Mantras are in the Vedas. There's a couple of mantras in the world that are okay. Some people dream them up themselves. It's not in our lineage. We do not give a mantra on a piece of paper to somebody. You know, you have 500 people in front of you and they come and then you give them a piece of paper. And today you get one word, you pay $1,500 or something, and you come back a week later, you get the next word or the next syllable. We don't do it that way. But we do it the ancient way because Samata is a purist lineage. It's not a religious lineage. It's spiritual. So we give the mantra, it's whispered on the breath through the ear.
And you've done that for your initiates that you've initiated?
Lots and lots of them, yeah. So it's a very personal one-on-one thing. And we do it in this orifice, the ear, because it's closest to where the soul is in the body.
Okay. So when they get that mantra, explain to me what they would be feeling or what they should be feeling.
Well, I don't know what they would be feeling, but some people have told me that they feel like an electric shock,
Okay.
that sort of thing, yeah.
Excellent. And what makes the mantra or mantra a mystic formula?
That.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, Swami, please explain why the mantra is bestowed by an initiate master. So why do you get it to be able to give it to people? What is with the lineage? Maybe explain the lineage why there is a mantra, because not every religion, or not every spiritual journey would give a mantra, I'm assuming.
No. Well, it is a connection, because if somebody says with the right vibration, if you repeat your mantra, it is said that the guru can hear it, can feel it.
Okay.
Because with the mantra, the guru also gives a part of the life force of the teacher gives some of its life force.
Ah.
So it's just like a embryo, the mantra.
Okay.
And it needs to grow.
And the only way it can grow is through
Repetition. And it's got to be repetition exactly the right way. Not if I tell you, say, Ram, and you say ham or something.
Yeah.
You know, you get it a bit wrong.
Yep.
You can't do that. It's got to be exactly the same way. And then it grows within you and it becomes part of your personality. So that, say if there was a lot of people and someone had been initiated by me and I would know them by the vibration coming out of them.
Okay, yep. So how does the mantra that's growing in them help them in their everyday life as well as their spiritual journey?
Because this refines their whole psyche, the body, mind and soul will be slowly changing.
Okay.
Yeah, refined.
Yes.
You know, like a metamorphosis.
And you've used that word a few times today,
I
which
have.
is good.
Yeah.
So people should pick up on that. You mentioned when one comes forward for initiation, a lot of work goes on behind the scenes. Would the initiated ones understand what goes on behind the scenes? Because I'm assuming they wouldn't. But I know they would have to prepare for it.
I think they start to learn because they need to prepare for it. I can't just go to anyone and give them a mantra. That's not the way I do it, and that's not what I do. But what happens, I have to visualize them first, and then I have to see if the mantra, which mantra they should have.
Okay.
They will have a lot of, as Muni was talking, they will have a lot of dreams during that time where I will look at their psyche and check if it's worth my while.
So with that, you would kind of, in the astral possibly, try and connect with that particular person that you're going to look at initiating, and then work out if the mantra is going to suit or find the mantra for them. But on the other side of it, you're actually checking to see if they're, worthy's not the right word, but worthy of receiving the mantra and being initiated.
That's right.
Very good. So I know personally you've initiated many people, Swami, but how hard is it for you to prepare for them? Because you do all the, I'm sure, I know, you do all the work in the background to prepare yourself and them. But what little things can you share with us that might help the person that's getting initiated or could get initiated in the future know that they're on the right track to doing the right things before that time?
I think I can't tell you what I do. I think I'm being honest enough here telling you lots, but I don't think I can tell you what I actually do. But, people, if they're not on the right track, then I would tell them that,
That's good.
or cause them to go elsewhere.
So on that, Swami, do they seek you out or do you seek them out?
They seek me.
Cool. You mention your first initiation ceremony. What is the path? Is it Chala? C-H-E-L-A?
Yes.
Explain that path, please.
Oh, that's when you decide that you want to go ahead and you want to have a spiritual life. You want to be an aspirant, just not looking on the fringe. And that's the path you take. I'm not answering that very well for you, am I?
Better than how I would have answered it. Another one here. How hard is it for people to keep their thoughts pure and possible to control their tongues? Because people backstab, people bitch, people complain, but they could replace that with positive thoughts instead of negative thoughts. So does a mantra help them with that type
Absolutely. My guru used to say it's an SOS call to headquarters.
That's very good, actually.
So
I like that.
I always think of him and his SOS call to headquarters, and things then go right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know most people don't care what I think, but I think if you're going to have a thought, it may as well be positive, not negative.
Yeah, that's true.
And you get more done when it is positive.
True.
Even if it's a bad situation, if you have that positive thought. So, based on that, how do we train our minds to be better?
Say the mantra. Now that's easier said, because somebody told me once that they had a friend who was dying of cancer, so she gave this woman a mantra. And I said, oh, that's nice. And she said, it's blah, 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 what it was. I won't say it out loud. And I thought, oh. I said to her, do you know what it meant? No, but it sounded good. So this poor lady who's dying of cancer is repeating these words that she didn't know what they are, and nobody else seemed to know what they were. I found that really sad, and that's the wrong way. You see, that's repeating something wrong. That's not good at all.
No. But that gets back to what I said a while ago about there could be a wrong
that is
mantra,
the wrong way.
and that would be
that's
a wrong
mantra.
one.
Yes.
So people that are listening to the podcast, Swami, that don't have a mantra or don't believe they have a mantra, what mantra would you get them to start working on or practicing on? Like, I know there's Soham.
It's a Soham mantra.
So that's the one
yes.
that they should start on.
So on the inward breath and on the outward breath. And again, take it down to the spine, the pelvic area, and then just breathe it out. Just follow your breath. It is said in the scriptures that between the inward breath and the outward breath is God.
Okay. So how would you breathe? Is it a slow, like I know it's pursed lips coming
not
out.
that one.
So with,
just a repetition.
it's just a repetition, yep. So with this one, it should be slow and meaningful
Slow
each time.
inward, and watch the breath and go along with it. You can hear the sound.
Nice.
I actually tried it, and because I always try everything before I would lecture on it, and it works. It actually works quite well. Doing it right, you can become enlightened.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, on the Soham breath.
You actually finish off the chapter saying, if our life is full of jealousy and desire, we will never fulfill our destiny. That's a really strong statement, I think.
Thank you.
Why is this so powerful for you? What made you write this?
I'm not jealous. I can't perceive jealousy. It doesn't get in my sight at all. But people are quite often jealous of other people. Well, you know, they've got more than I've got, and I need to get as much as they've got, and they've got a nice, apartment, and I need a bigger one. Why?
That's a good question. Why?
You don't need it. All these desires are not what you're here for. What you're here, you've been given everything for this life, believe it or not. Everything that happens to you, good and bad, is for this life. You don't need somebody else's life. And this will stunt you. You will have all the time thinking, why can't I be like them? Why can't I do what they do? You know, I'm going to be better than them. They're no good.
So how do we break away from the jealousy pattern? How do we break away from that desire, that negative desire?
Listen to your breath.
So just
Calm
come
down.
straight back in and...
Yeah, calm down to yourself. Yeah.
Beautiful. That was enlightening, Swami. Thank you very much for that.
That's all right.
Thank you for joining us in another episode of the Teachings of Samata. For further information regarding these teachings with Swami Durgananda and her products, please check out the website below. To follow on with this journey, please subscribe for more.